Welcome back to another edition of Between Two FARS. I am very lucky to have Mr. Ed Fein here with us today. He has been working for NASA Johnson Space Center for 52 years. Right out of law school, he spent about a year and a half as a patent examiner at the USPTO office, and then he entered NASA as a patent attorney, but in 1986, he became our patent counsel. He's only the second person in the history of Johnson Space Center to hold this title. And he is now serving, it's kind of branched out a little bit, he is now serving not only as our patent counsel, but as our intellectual property counsel here at NASA Johnson Space Center. We're really, really glad to have you here today, Ed. And we'd like to talk a little bit about intellectual property rights and the important FAR provisions that have to go into research and development contracts. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually there's two sections of Part 27 which covers patents, copyrights, and data in the FAR and the NASA FAR supplement. So basically we deal with patent rights because obviously as one of the foremost agencies that's pushing the edge of technology, we like to think that we create a lot of really cool new stuff. So basically we need to delineate the rights between the contractor and the government in new technology that comes out of the performance of our R&D contracts. So we've got basically two different, and it's historical the way the statutes came about, two different patent clauses in our contracts. One is for large entities other than small business and the nonprofits, and the other is for small business and nonprofits. And the reason we have two different areas, two different clauses is because when the agency was established, we were a title-taking agency. Only two government agencies qualify. That's Department of Energy and us. The thought was that because of what we do, we needed to own all rights to all inventions.
Did we have a lot of businesses that were willing to sort of play with us when we had those kind of rights?
When you're the only show in town and they want to play and you're in space, yeah, they got to play under our rules.
So why did we change things for small businesses?
Well, there was a statute that came about by DOLAC that gave a lot of rights to small entities, and small entities, small business and the nonprofits, have the statutory right to elect to retain title to their inventions. We always, at minimum, get a royalty-free government purpose license, so we can use anything that they create, but they have the right to elect to retain title and file patent applications in their own name. If you're a large entity, the big aerospace companies, we still have the old clause, which is called the New Technology Clause. The other is the Patent Rights Ownership by the Contractor Clause. But the New Technology Clause gives the government ownership of all technology that's first produced in the performance of the contract, and the government retains a license to practice. But if they want, they can petition for waiver. And the agency is very liberal in granting waiver. So it's a long, complicated, convoluted way of getting to the same place. But it's because of the different regimes we came under in different areas of the law. So it gets complicated. And then if we put out a solicitation and we don't know whether the ultimate winner of the contract is going to be a small entity or a large entity, we have to put both clauses in the contract and a clause that tells the contractor if he's a big boy, he gets this clause. If he's a small entity, he gets this clause. and the CO's got to remember to delete the other. It's
Got a lot of moving parts,
A
huh?
lot of moving parts, and it's probably more complex than it should be.
Well, I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about the difference between IP rights in an R&D contract versus some of our more routine contracts. Would you come back next time and talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Be sure to tune back in to the next edition of Between Two FARS.